The views and opinions expressed on Real Talk with Horace Sheffield are not those of WADL TV 38 or Adele Broadcasting Corporation.
Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Real issues straight from the heart. Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk.
Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm Reverend Horace Sheffield III, the Executive Director of the Detroit Association of Black Organizations. Also now the Chairman or the President of the Families Against Narcotics Detroit chapter. Here with my protege, one of my proud proteges, Parris Simpson, who's been around me for many, many years, doing great work on her own, also in the leadership of developing the Families Against Narcotics chapter. During this broadcast, you're going to hear from some of the people who are part of the fan chapter, hear their personal stories, as you will from me and Parris. You'll hear from Darlene Owens, who has blessed us through the Detroit Way Integrative Health Network for the fan chapter to get some funding and to put things in place, and then from people all over the state who are part of FAN and benefited from FAN. So let's just start. Parris, give us a layout of the Detroit chapter, why we started it, and some of the activities.
So Detroit Families Against Narcotics was started in January of 2019, and it was brought by yourself as the community leader, faith leader from Detroit, as well as some people in the recovery community of Detroit who were just really wanting to make sure that our city had the resources for family members who had people that were struggling with addiction. And so that was kind of our groundwork for wanting to have our chapter here. I think as a part of our recovery community in the city of Detroit, that's been an integral and missing part, is that we haven't had that support for the families of people who are battling addiction.
And that's important because, I mean, in the context of my church, there's a hymn called "Love Lifted Me," and there's no doubt that family members love those who are afflicted and addicted. They just don't know the right methodology to be able to help them. I had a good friend of mine, Roman Frankel, who oversaw my recovery and getting into treatment, who tells a story about his mother loved him so much that she almost killed him. And people were like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Because I could always get another 50 from my mother," which means he could continue to fuel his addiction. So Families Against Narcotics is really set up for people who have loved ones, sons and daughters, brothers, sisters, husbands, and wives, who don't know what to do or are doing the wrong thing. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. We're providing them with a support network to be able to provide their family members with the proper resources and to get support from one another about, ways of handling what they're actually going through. Because addiction is a family disease. Sometimes we end up just as sick as the loved ones who are battling. So it's definitely a needed.
And I think it's worth taking a moment to talk about addiction because, again, I'm a pastor, so I have people who want to lay hands on folks, want to pray it away, wish it away, or I don't understand why they just can't make up their mind. But people who have issues with drugs and alcohol, that's a physiological addiction. That's a change of their body chemistry, right?
Addiction is a chronic brain disease, and it should be treated as one, just like any other disease that a person battles with, such as cancer. I mean, we should have a complete recovery support system for those people, whether it be from the medical treatment that they receive as people, and also the peer treatment that they receive for their families.
Yep. So just by way of transparency, I'm Horace. I'm an addict. I'm in recovery, been so for almost 32 years. July 23rd of this year, 2020, will be 32 years. There was nothing around when my sisters and my father grappled with my addiction. They stood by in terror. They cried, they wept, they pleaded, but there was no one to whom they could go or no meetings themselves. And by the way, you're quite right. Many of them thought that it was just me that had the problem, when in reality, the family dynamics and all those things contribute to it.
There's a huge misconception about what actually contributes to a person having an addiction. And a really big part of Families Against Narcotics is to break down that stigma and to end the stigma about what addiction actually is, to kind of create some realities in our community about how we can treat this.
Yeah. And we help the parents actually not enable, but actually intervene in the lives of these people. So let's talk about, we have a chapter. We'll give you more information in the next segment, how you can connect. We meet every second Monday of the month. We'll be doing that virtually until this pandemic is put on pause. We'll give you that information. But what are some of the specific things we can do for people who are wrestling with addictions in their family?
So Families Against Narcotics offers all types of programs and presentations. So one of our presentations that we do is we partner with local schools and businesses who are interested in creating a culture where people understand addiction and creating a culture where we can help people that might be struggling. So if you are interested, if you have a business or if people at your school are combating the disease of addiction and you want to hear real stories from real people about how they've overcome, then we actually go out and provide those presentations free of charge to the community. Another thing that we're doing, Families Against Narcotics Detroit, is actually offering a Narcan naloxone training. Now, if you're not familiar with Narcan, it's the opioid antagonist medication that reverses the opioid.
So people who are overdosing, this actually brings them back.
To life. For example, if a person was overdosing from heroin, it could reverse those effects. And therefore, we're offering training for people in the community so they know how to properly utilize naloxone. So we offer that virtually. There are virtual presentations in May and in June. And you can register for that at familiesagainstnarcotics.org/Narcan.
Okay, and we'll have more information on that too. So we also are working on the Hope Not Handcuffs. We only have about a minute, so we'll get more into that in a moment. But just give us a brief description of that.
Yeah, so Hope Not Handcuffs is a program very unique to Families Against Narcotics where we actually partner with our local police departments and precincts in the city of Detroit. And that's a person that's struggling with an addiction can go in a police department and ask for help. And that's whether or not they have, drug paraphernalia on them or have been using that day or appear high. They would be offered hope, where they would be contacted. The precinct would then contact Families Against Narcotics, and we would send out an angel where we'll talk about how a person can become an angel, and that person would help that person get into treatment.
So it diverts them from going to jail to getting some help. So look, we've had a lot of people who've helped us with this launch of our new chapter in Detroit. One of the people who we just love and can't say enough about, and that's Darlene Owens, who is the SUD director, Detroit Wayne Integrative Health Network. She's going to come now and give us a message about why they're supporting this and what good can come from it. And then we'll have, after her, some of the founding members of the Detroit chapter of FAN who will share their personal stories. When we come back after that, Parris and I will talk about our own paths to recovery and then make sure you know how to get some help through this process. Just know one thing I think we got to say before the break, that recovery is possible. Not only does the person who has the addiction recover, but those of us who have suffered through their addiction can also recover as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that important?
That is important.
I'm so glad my dad got to see me clean before he left this earth. I'm so glad my sisters have known what it means for me to be clean as well. All right, we'll be right back after this. And right now, watch Darlene and the rest of those with their testimonies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Darlene Owens. I'm the Director of Substance Use Disorder Initiatives at Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. We are the public safety net that provides mental health as well as substance abuse services for the residents of Wayne County. Now I would like to talk about the Detroit chapter on Families Against Narcotics, also known as FAN. They're providing a lot of different services. They're doing COVID testing free of charge all around the city of Detroit on a weekly basis. This is being organized through Detroit Association of Black Organizations, also known as DABO, so please feel free to give them a call. Now I'd like to tell you about some services that Detroit Wayne is doing regarding the COVID crisis. We have added on 2 recovery homes that provide those services for those folks that have COVID signs and symptoms as well as the virus itself. So it's available 24 hours, 7 days a week. So anyone that has a substance abuse issue, they can still get those clinical services as well as those medical services as well. Some of the other things that we've done, we have distributed to our provider network some personal protection equipment because there are boots on the ground. They're actually still seeing our clients. These are face-to-face services such as detox, residential, and recovery homes. So we're doing a lot of different things. We are making sure that our providers are providing telehealth services. So those folks that have Zoom capability, MS Teams, Blue Jeans. And if someone doesn't, they can actually do individual sessions or group sessions via telephone. So if you have a telephone, they're working with you there. We're also trying to work to help to find phones for our providers as well as our clients. So these are some of the different things that we're trying to do. We're trying to let you know that Detroit Wayne is still providing services 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. You always can access our services at 1-800-241-4949. Again, that's 1-800-241-4949. We're available for services. Help is still here. We haven't forgotten about you. We care and we miss you, and we are here to provide services. Thank you so very much.
Hi, my name is Sherelle Parks. I'm a peer support specialist and also a person that is in recovery from alcoholism and a co-occurring diagnosis. I've been struggling with alcoholism since the age of 15 and a co-occurring diagnosis of depression and anxiety. As a patron of mental health and substance abuse services, I know firsthand the importance of the support and services that Families Against Narcotics offers to the community. Through God's support and rehabilitation, I was able to turn my life into a testimony to advocate and provide hope to others who may be going through what I was once going through or will go through what I was once going through. It's important to remember that not only the individual is affected by this, but also the family and friends of these individuals as well. Families Against Narcotics provides a safe zone for these individuals and the family and friends of these individuals. As an intake coordinator for one of the largest nonprofit behavioral health organizations in the United States, it is my duty and honor to provide individuals with outpatient and a continuance of care long after they leave crisis residential units, psychiatric inpatient hospitalizations, and day hospitals. I am blessed to be able to let individuals know that there is hope in recovery, long-term recovery, and it is possible. During this unprecedented time, there's been a significant increase of individuals that are being hospitalized regarding substance abuse disorders. I know that it may be hard to stay positive and active in recovery, but I am here for you. We are here for you. Please reach out if you feel yourself or a loved one will benefit at this time or any time for that matter. If you or someone you know is in active addiction, I want you to know that it is never too late to start your recovery journey. Never too late to change your life. The perfect time is now, and you have a host of support and resources available to you. Remember, you can do this. As we make our way through these unprecedented times of COVID-19, please remember that this too shall pass. We are here for you now and will continue to be a support beyond these times. Remember to practice social distancing, and please, please be safe. God bless.
Hello, my name is Floyd White. I am the Vice President of FAN Detroit, Families Against Narcotics. I'm here to help you or inform you on as to what we do here in Detroit in the FAN chapter and how it can help you. We like to talk about, first of all, self-help being part of the key pieces to recovery and to fighting this addiction thing. First of all, I need to say this. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and what that means to me is that I haven't used any mind-altering, mood-changing substance in over 27 years. And since then, I've dedicated my life to working to help fight addiction and the disease of addiction. In 1957, the American Medical Association declared addiction a disease, more so a behavioral disease. I've come to find out that it's a little behavioral and mental. And you need to know this because the best tools by which you combat your disease is education and information. And that's what we're going to do at FAN. We're going to educate you and inform you as to what you can best do to help your family members and to help yourself. And most of it's going to be about what you can do for you, because you can't help your family members if they don't want help. And that's an important key piece. So as of that, we just opened in January, and we were so terribly needed in the Detroit area, where I think the disparity of funding for addiction and the people being affected are mainly in the Detroit metropolitan urban areas. So I'd like to welcome you to attend our meetings. They're the second Monday of every month. We're going to put together, while the virus, COVID-19 is in quarantine, we're going to put together some Zoom meetings and things of that nature. So I'd just like to say I'd welcome you and how important your participation in this project will be and in helping your family members. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Candice Nature. I am an attorney with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself and why I joined the Detroit chapter of Families Against Narcotics. When I was in high school, I had a friend that overdosed on prescription painkillers and died. This was something that not only devastated myself, but devastated my community as well. He was not the first person to have overdosed on painkillers, and over the next 10 to 15 years, we saw many other people from our town struggle with substance abuse. However, because of the fear and the shame and the guilt that surrounds substance abuse, many people from our community did not discuss the issue or talk about what was going on within our community. This is why I decided to join the Families Against Narcotics Detroit chapter. In the last decade, I have seen many people, not only from my community, but from communities all over the country, that have struggled with narcotic addiction, and many people who have lost their battles and died from overdose. However, there is a stigma that surrounds addiction, that it is a choice and not a disease, and the stigma has caused people to feel fear, to feel shame, to feel guilt, and therefore preventing those people from seeking the help that they need. And that's where Families Against Narcotics comes in.
We know that life does not stop just because we are experiencing overwhelming changes that are outside of our control. Unfortunately, there isn't a button that we can push that will pause our lives. We just have to find a way to keep on going.
With the world shut down, it may feel as if no one's there for you. You may feel anxious and isolated, and those feelings can be overwhelming at times.
But we know there are still people struggling. We know help is still needed, especially now, maybe more than ever.
That's why Families Against Narcotics continues to be present in this incredibly challenging time.
And even though we can't meet face-to-face with those in need of assistance, our essential services continue through virtual settings and phone calls.
If you want to start your recovery journey now, we're here for you.
Our Hope Not Handcuffs program is still in operation. You can start the process on our website or by calling our Hope line, and we'll provide a volunteer angel to assist you.
We understand what you're going through, and since February of 2017, we have helped more than 4,000 people get the resources, support, and help they deserve.
Or maybe you feel the need to speak to someone who has lived through and experienced addiction and recovery, someone who gets it.
We can make that happen with peer and family coaches.
They are standing by to talk with you and give you that boost that you may be looking for.
You know someone who is at risk of overdosing? We invite you to attend a free Narcan training session.
You'll learn how to properly administer this life-saving drug, and we'll send you a free Narcan kit right to your door so you have it on hand.
Science has proven that exercise helps reduce stress and stimulates the pleasure sensors in the brain. So consider joining us weekly for our virtual Yoga for Recovery class.
We also have online meetings and forums that you can click on Facebook Live and Zoom.
This is an unprecedented time for everyone. A fan isn't going anywhere.
We are committed to helping and supporting you with empathy and compassion.
Even now, especially now, because we care and because you deserve it.
Visit our website at familiesagainstnarcotics.org.
Or call the Hope line at 833-202-HOPE.
That's 833-202-4673.
We're here for you.
So stay strong and don't be scared. You got this.
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 A new law, Public Act 33, was recently enacted, which will help low-income taxpayers avoid property tax foreclosure. This law is referred to as Pay As You Stay, or PAYS. It will allow those who are exempt from property taxes due to low income the ability to remove interest, penalties, and fees from their delinquent taxes and to pay their balance over a 3-year period. Even though our office is currently closed to the public, taxpayers who qualify will be contacted by my office. Their payment plans will be processed through the mail and with the assistance from our nonprofit partners. Please visit us at treasurer.waynecounty.com or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com for more information. And remember, we're here to help.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Reverend Sheffield. This is Parris Simpson, an indomitable, incomparable force in so many ways, involved in NAMI, involved in FAN, involved in, is it Real Detroit? Real Michigan. Of course, we're mourning the loss of Dr. Kelvin Trent. I think it's important for you to know our personal stories. All of us have different paths, different pilgrimages, different pain, different ways of resolving our conflict and our problems. And so for you out there who want to know about FAN, I think the best way to do that is for us to share our stories, which is why we do the 12th step of the 12th tradition, which is carrying that message to someone else. Parris?
Yeah, so I consider myself to be a person in long-term recovery. And what that means to me is that I've received the ability through multiple pathways of recovery to manage my present conditions. And that's living as a person with substance use and co-occurring mental health conditions. And the way that I've been able to do that is by connecting with people in the recovery community. Like Reverend Sheffield mentioned, we are mourning the loss of the late Dr. Calvin Trent, and being under his tutelage, I learned so much about the realities of recovery, the fact that sometimes we don't even know the battles and the trauma that's under the substances or the symptoms that we're distributing. And just being able to heal, and the fact that that healing is possible for everyone is what really drew me to Families Against Narcotics. And then the instrumental support for people who are battling addiction and their family members to be able to be supported as well is really what brings me here and why I'm so passionate about the work that FAN does.
So on July 23rd, 1988, I had spent 3 or 4 days in a crack house, spent several $1,000s, had written about $4,000 worth of bad checks against my father's account, had my title for my Lincoln Continental in my glove box, and one of the gentlemen who had been the manager, the road manager of the Supreme, stood at the phone booth trying to persuade me to sell my Lincoln for an 8-ball. And I had less than 1/8 of a tank of gas in that Lincoln, but I drove to Pontiac, Michigan, where my brother-in-law was the chief of police, and my sister. That car cut off in front of their house. Don't know how I made it. And I ran into the house and told my sister, who was stern and strict, that I needed help. The next day I was in Birmingham, Alabama, met a woman named Sarah General, God bless her soul. She died last year, assisted me with several of my family members and others. And when I woke up in treatment at Bradford in Birmingham, I was crying, I was distraught. And she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "What am I going to do if I've come here? Everyone now knows I have a problem, and I go back and I do the same." She said, "I've never met anybody that got up in the morning that asked God to keep them clean and use this program that ever relapsed." Right. And she taught me a prayer: eliminate the mental obsessions, eradicate the physical cravings, and make the thoughts of using drugs and alcohol thoroughly distasteful proposition. And I've prayed that prayer for almost 32 years, every day of my life. God bless her soul. But what I realized, because I lost the marriage, my children were very young, and I realized about codependency, I realized about people enabling, and I felt that many of my family members did not understand the roles that they played in prolonging my addiction. And so one of the reasons that I come to FAN is because I know that there are many people out there who pray hard, who cry at night, who do every imaginable, conceivable thing, but without the methodology, without the support. They're embarrassed. And so FAN gives us an opportunity to help those family members share both sides of love. There's tough love, hard love, and then there's soft love. And many times we don't give them the love. Sometimes the best thing we can do is tell people no. So FAN gives you an opportunity to be able to figure out in a research-based therapeutic model how we can help our loved ones finally recover. And in our meetings, as you know, we've had people come with their family members who were struggling with addiction. So that's our story. Everybody has a story. You can flip the script. You can change the narrative. Rarely has anyone ever recovered on their own. Never have, never will. We're powerless even as non-users over the use of our family members who are afflicted and addicted. But FAN is here to help. So let's take a moment and tell people all the ways in which they can contact. Let's start with when we meet.
Okay, so we meet on the second Monday of every month. We have a monthly forum with different presenters that have topics on from Narcan and naloxone training to just sharing your stories with your family members. So that's the second Monday of every month at 6 p.m. We're going to have virtual meetings on probably into the pandemic starts to wear.
That information is going to be at the bottom of your screen right now.
The information is that they'll be available on Eventbrite. You can register for our meetings or via Facebook Live, and we'll also be having these meetings via Zoom, and we have plenty of publications on how you can get connected. So it's the second Monday of every month at 6 p.m. The meetings are via Zoom. That's our monthly forum.
And we meet when we come back in the Sheffield Center Complex, 12000 Grand River at the corner of Wyoming and Kentucky. In the interim, if you wanted more information, you can call the Sheffield Center, 313-491-0003, 313-491-0003, and we'll give you information about our meetings. I think we only have about a minute left, and so why don't you close out and just encourage people to get help, after which you're going to hear from Judge Linda. Is it Judge Linda? Judge Linda, who is such a formidable force in this whole recovery field, and from people all across the state, including me, about FAN and what we're doing.
Yeah, just want to encourage everybody that recovery is possible, that there is a reality to recovery, that your family members can be supported, that you can be supported, and to join us at Families Against Narcotics Detroit. We're offering that support to our community, reliable resources, and just a network. So join us. You can get more information on our webpage, familiesagainstnarcotics.org/Detroit.
And we want to say to Darlene Owens, Detroit Wayne Integrative Health Network, thank you for helping us make this happen. Those of you who have a loved one, you can't pray it away, you can't wish it away, you can't hope it away, but we can work our way through this. Recovery is possible. It works if you work it. God bless you. We'll be back next week. This is this is not on the line. This is Real Talk. Get my radio and TV mixed up. This is Real Talk with Reverend Sheffield and, of course, Parris Simpson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Detroit, this is real talk, real issues straight from the heart, giving you real talk, take a walk down this path through Detroit, this is real talk, real talk.
This is an important message from the Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabri.
Currently, the Wayne County Treasurer's Office is closed to the public. This decision was made in order to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus. We are in total agreement with the governor's emergency declaration and the efforts of Wayne County leadership to protect the health and safety of our employees and the taxpayers who visit our office. Given the emergency declaration, we have suspended foreclosure activity for the 2020 calendar year.